ACS especially is a blast. High tier teams, high tier gameplay. So always again a big, so much fun to see those two teams. So I'm hyped. What about you? I hope you're hyped as well.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to cast in about a week here for ACS, so it's been missing out a good bit. But I am very much looking forward to it. I think this matchup has we're casting Lucendi and Regnant coming up here, and I think Lucendi is the last team in the league so far that I have yet to cast. So I'm really looking forward to actually getting to watch them play and see how it all unfolds and see how the game comes out really. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm really excited for this, and I'm just excited to get back into casting this game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, let's actually already start taking a look on to which maps we're going to see. As you can see right below our camps, Lucendi started the ban phase with banning Coastline, followed up by Consulate being banned by Regnant, and then Theme Park being banned by Lucendi, and then Regnant Villa. So we do see Cafe and Club. What do you think of those maps?
I think it's pretty standard, honestly. A lot of teams nowadays trying to think of how to word this. They don't like to take risks really when it comes
Yeah,
to the map bans, and as a result, you see a lot of cafe, club, border, and villa kind of added in there as well lately. Um, so it's pretty standard maps, I think. At least now that bank is out of the map pool, we don't see bank club back to back to back by every single team. It definitely felt like towards the end of everything, that's all we were seeing, as that's all teams were willing to show off, I guess, unless they really didn't like one or the other. But
absolutely.
yeah, I mean, it's going to be pretty nice. In all reality, I still think maps doesn't really matter. Right now, Lucendi is sitting at third at 4-0-2, and Regnant is only a draw above our last place team of Envik. So it's not the greatest spot for Regnant here, as it to call it a breeze would be really not true at all. All these teams are pretty skillful and pretty evenly matched, I'd say, but still, it's definitely a very big uphill climb tonight for Regnant to want to come out with more points to advance themselves in the standings.
I mean, especially when you look at the standings, of course, it's also important to point out that Lucendi is, yes, you're right, currently at place 3, but especially the first two teams do have two more matches played already. So, of course, they naturally already are tending to have more points on their bank account already. So, of course, it's quite likely for them to be on top of them. But Lucendi actually has the chance to gain some points today if they defeat Regnant. Regnant needs those points like super much. You said that together with Envik, they're currently like at the very bottom of the leaderboard. Regnant, in fact, has 1 point, so a lot of points to gain for Regnant to make it up. But yeah, we still like there's still more than time for them to come back up, and there's also more than enough time for Lucendi to reach the first place. So they should definitely try as best as they could. And yeah, we are already starting now with the very first map. Cafe it is. We're starting with the bad face. Please take it away.
Yeah, so as has become pretty usual, we see the Ying band. So I also expect a Thatcher band here. These are just two bands that we see normally now. Thatcher has been done. There's just no way really to like keep harping on it, but Thatcher has just he does so well to deny a lot of strategies and play styles from a lot of defenses nowadays, and that is very interesting. I don't think I've ever seen a castle ban. Do you have any idea what the reasoning behind that could be?
That is actually a really good question. I mean, castle is quite an interesting ban. Where are you placing your castle barricades down? It's quite likely to place them down at some points, like the white stairs window to have some more protection in piano, or the piano double door to shut the entrance for as long as possible. You're trying to remodel the map and come up with yeah in marks with walls which are not naturally in the map to try to force the attackers in a way you prepared for them to, especially being then in an advantageous situation and having angles prepped against them. But a castle ban is like, what? I completely have to question that. I am not sure if that's a counter ban or not, because I haven't really seen super crazy castle gameplay already to justify a ban. That's super interesting. You're definitely right at that point.
Yeah, and there's I mean it's really weird to say, but there's no way past it. It is I don't think I agree. There's never been any castle play I've seen where I'm just like, man, we really need to get rid of this castle. We need to do something about this castle. And it's just really interesting that Regnant would opt into that, but it's uh it's a bit in the past now, as we're not going to see the that operator come out. And uh I don't see any really unique or interesting operators coming out the from either side. It's all pretty standard as of late. The attackers lineups, I'd say, are a lot less fluid than a lot of defender lineups lately, because usually in some capacity you'll have one hard breacher and Sledge and Zofia, and then your other two are usually between Ash, Nomad, and IQ. So it's pretty standard, as top of red wasn't reinforced.
Absolutely. That's
Uh
actually super interesting.
yeah, that's really confusing actually.
Zenoxu is actually the first one to open this match with a crazy headshot onto Monster. Brilliant job there. And of course, the very important map control they're gaining here is quite interesting. That piano is completely gifted to them. There's also nobody down below to toss some C4s out, so not that much pressure done there. It kind of looks like a bait for them to go into freezer. And as we can see, there's a shield prepared facing from the window front northern to properly peek into them. I'm not sure if that is going to end well. It's high risk, high reward, I guess. But as we can see, Louis is actually already prepared there. The breach will be open. Louis has to run away, and just in the right millisecond, he actually gets away. But Zenoxu has been downed as kind of like a trade. Very late, but he could be rested, as we could see just now. So now, of course, the very last pressure for the side can be open, because there's not that much pressure you can open here in Cafe. Maybe somebody can rotate back to a window on the eastern side. Maybe we'll see that as well. But other than that, not that much pressure from multiple angles, only from the western side of the map at the very moment.
Yeah, now that we're down into this last minute, even though it's Qual, Zenoxu, and Kixa down on really low health, that doesn't matter because you have the man advantage, and because of that, Lucendi is going to push that even further as they take a lot of angles and get the diffuser down. At least Joker's going to fall in response, but a quick shot from the Thermite. Qualdog able to get one, but not the rest, as the Wamai is pushing forward, trying to clutch this out. It's not too far off from winnable, but it is still very tough as he has two very low health enemies to deal with alongside the full health TJ up on the ceiling on the skylight there. Now we're down to 15 seconds of the diffuser, and it's pretty much doomed here for Pelican, as he's going to really have to make this one work, and I don't think he will. He's at least going to find a second frag here onto Zenoxu, but not going to find Kixa, as he runs right past him, ships in the night, and it is all done and dusted on round one here. A good round from Lucendi, at least.
I mean, absolutely. I'm really not sure if that was the right play by Regnant to just bait them into freezer and completely give them piano. because of course it's hard to hold piano for a very long time, especially when you can have pressure from white hallway or from white window, especially from the piano windows, from the cigar door. It's quite hard to hold it for long, but don't underestimate the proper time waste in siege, because especially at the very last push, every millisecond is actually, it's coming down to every millisecond. If you don't have that millisecond, you might lose the round. And in this very situation, we just saw like, I don't know if it would be helpful for Regnant just to delay them even more in piano and then give them piano afterwards. Might have been changing the situation, but of course we can just fantasize afterwards. Though in my opinion, like I said, it would have been helpful.
Yeah, I very much agree. It would have been a lot more helpful for the defense. It's interesting, I think, that Pelican is running the Wamai closer in on site rather than usually we'll see him. A strategy that's been cropping up a lot lately is throwing down his shield into that pixel spot near the bench in piano, and you kind of just get very obnoxious and you stall out as much as possible. So it's a very obnoxious position to deal with alongside Jaeger devices that get placed over there to help him out. But we're not seeing that from Pelican. We're seeing a very passive hold from him, and because of that, things like the breach very early on happened, and there's just no contention really from Regnant. They're playing very safe here and very passively against Lucendi, and they're really just giving them all the map control they want. And I guess this must be a strategy thing that top red is reinforced or unreinforced, but it's been opened again already by Lucendi.
I mean, it looks like at least this time the mute has the mute jammers in the right position to make it even harder for them to get rid of the mute jammers deep in freezer. Of course, you can toss down some grenades from the roof or shoot something into freezer from the roof to get rid of that, but that is of course costing a lot of time, costing a lot of utility, because there might be some ADSs burning. You have to burn through. But let's actually take a look if he can survive longer this time in freezer, or if freezer can be held much longer. For the moment, a lot of pressure coming from piano side, also into the bomb side. As we can see, they just opened the angle to have a rotation into the side. And yeah, we already see that Nexus is getting pressured there in the freezer, in the bathroom there. Ooh, what a long angle, but it's actually Louis getting the kill onto TJ. And there's more help from Louis, but this time he can't get it because Scorpio has been pressured too much. The refrag, though, instantly being there. Louis is there to refrag onto his teammate or for his teammate. And we have a 4v3 situation. This time it looks by far better for Regnant. I don't know what they changed, but this time it looks completely different. And still roamers being on the board.
Yeah, that quick shot from Joker is going to shut down Louis before he can keep heating up, and the wall is at least open by Qualdog. So it's a very good start, very good recovery, rather, not a start from Lucendi here, as they're in a decent position, but uh, there's only a couple ADSs and all the Wamida still to deal with, but only a nade, really. So not a ton for Lucendi to worry about here, is now pressured out. Sky Nexus is going to fall, and this is actually swung very far in favor of Lucendi here. Monster caught on an aggressive peek. At least Joker's refragged by the Wamai, but shut down. Lucendi comes from behind and is able to win out the round yet again. That's just really good, just fortitude, I guess I'd say, for Lucendi to sit there in that 3-on-4 and not get scared. Or you'll often see a lot of teams in those positions where you still have a good amount of the round left. They'll just get scared. They'll start playing safely back. They'll start waiting on one another, and Lucendi just didn't do that. They just went really aggressive there.
Quite interesting that for this next round we do see, no, we don't see a 6-pick onto the blitz. I have been teased a little bit too much here. But actually I'm happy that we don't see a blitz, because blitz, I mean, I'm happy and I'm also unhappy, because you know, whenever you see a blitz pick, it's quite of an interesting pick, because you could also bring a Monty, but a Monty, you know, has downsides, like of course less aggression, but of course the advantage of not being shootable into the foot. But yeah, like I said, Blitz is it normally ends not that well as teams expect him to be. Like he's not that useful as teams think he is. But in the right moment, of course, a Blitz can make that decision to decide the round. For now, we see Reading and Fire place the next bomb spot. Regnant chooses, trying to recover a little bit the loss from the top floor and not be there for every round. Quite interesting that we see a lot of rotationals, especially into the A bomb spot in Fireplace. I guess we'll have a lot of top floor control there as well to delay the attackers. That's quite a default thing to do. Maybe this time we will also see a proper piano take.
Yeah, I think we will have to see that piano take, but Lucendi is actually just running right up into train here, and they're very slow, and they're gonna find the Goyo rather of Louis. He's gonna fall. No more double kills for him early on, as Qual is looking to get this early plant going here. And this is already a massive hole in Regnant's plan. It's only not even a minute left. And the Jaeger is also going to fall as well as Anoxu's able to find that on the monster, not refragged. As now Joker as well. This is just all in favor of Lucendi. At least Pelican is able to refrag. He's been a light in the dark here for Regnant alongside Louis. But now him and Skynexus are going to start to get pressured out very heavily. The plant's going to come down as the smoke tries to worm his way forward, but his arm should just be getting seen by the Zofia. But no, Skynexus is going to swing out. At least Qualdog has been downed here, and he's going to be gassed out. But a 3-on-2 post plant for a half health Mozzie, and the smoke with one canister remaining is pretty rough here alongside Zenoxu outside. And speaking of, he's going to find Sky Nexus. The smoke goes down. Lucendi is up 3-0 now, very early on.
Yeah, great communications there by Lucendi. I guess the IGL saw the weak spot in trains and immediately called his teammates to go up red stairs and push from mining. Very great push, very great analysis of the actual take of the attackers. They found the weak spot, they pushed in from there, got the plant on quite early on without any further ado, and it worked. Like, it proves more and more that whatever kind of strat Regnant brings to the table, Lucendi is just, it's just ready for it. They outplay them, they outgun them. I don't know what exactly it is, but we definitely see some interesting gameplay here from Lucendi countering those defensive strats. Now we go to Kitchen, a bomb spot we haven't seen yet today. Also considered one of the best bomb spots after this map has been reworked. Let's see if this might be the changing point for Regnant to come back, especially this, as it is called a defender-sided map, would be now very much needed for Regnant to be won. Otherwise, it looks very bad to go into the future. You said it. 3-0 is already looking quite bad. If they can't win the next round, they will have a very bad time in their actual attack to, get the first map on.
Yeah, and going off that, you had said just now, Cafe is pretty defender-sided, and to get started on attack 3-0, you're already putting yourself in such a massive positional advantage, especially heading even before you head into your defense. On a lot of defensive sided maps, you're really looking for this three, assuming Regnant somehow clean sweeps the next 3 sites. Even then, you're looking at a defensive half start at 3-3 for Lucendi at absolute worst. And the way that they're playing, and rather the way that Regnant is playing alongside that, it's really looking like it's not going to be a 3-3 half. Lucendi is going to set themselves up already really well for this second half, as now there's somehow Freezer has been open. At least Louis is able to take the quick frag onto Qualdog, but his job is essentially done. That back freezer has been opened up, so even though it's a 4-on-5 and a good look already for Regnant, we saw Lucendi in the same position and they made it work before.
I am not quite sure how early or how it is possible to get Freezer that early. Zenoxu applying a little bit of pressure from Bar. We have Joker also holding the backside of Red. Zenoxu is actually the one to get the kill onto Nexus landed. Joker finds one as well and takes Louis out. Reframe from Scorpio though onto TJ. But it's only 3v3. No Monster says nope, and there goes Joker. Now it's a 3v2. No, a 2v2. Zenoxu is also in the map. Monster has been tossed out of the match. As you can see, though, now Zenoxu down to a slither of HP in that 2v2. 1 minute 20. Diffuser is lying on the floor. They have to get it. In the act of getting it, Scorpio is there to catch him here. Cooks had no chance of getting the diffuser, and a free kill for Scorpio. It's up to Zenoxu with, like said, a slither of HP to get the diffuser, either planted and then survive, or get those 2 kills collected. It either way is going to be very hard for him, since yeah, those goo mines are still being spread out there. We still have Pelican Sun with a smoke canister, though time-wise he still have enough time to decide what he wants to do. He could of course also decide to use the time to discuss with his team what they want to do within the next round, but since they're already up 3-0, not that much needed to discuss with the team if they need to change anything. And it looks like he's actually going for kills. Might be peeking into Pelican Sun quite soon. He actually runs into Kitchen, but then is catched as he vaults over that Kitchen half wall.
Yeah, finally, at least, Regnant is able to salvage around here as they're going to stop Lucendi's run at 3 rounds in a row. They're able to shut that one down here, but at least thankfully someone else other than Pelican and Louis were able to chime in with some frags there. Scorpio and Monster finally putting themselves on the board. But still, this is, like I said, even if Regnant is able to flawless out these next 3 sites, Lucendi has set themselves in a fantastic position already. So we'll have to see now where they want to take this bar cocktail attack, as finally there is some wall denier coming out from Louis in the Kaid, at least. That's really been something that's been missing all 3 of these last rounds. Even though the Kaid was picked last round too by Skynexus, I don't think he placed a claw on Freezer Wall, and because of that, the Freezer Wall was able to be opened up within a minute, and that was really well done by Lucendi. So we'll have to see now if Louis is going to be able to stall out this wall take, especially with no IQ or Maverick. That's who I was thinking of. To assist in getting this wall, really. So in theory, I mean, the round should go a lot better for Regnant now that the wall is going to get denied. In theory, it should get denied for a lot longer.
That is in fact correct. But again, we see them gifting completely piano towards Lucendi. I'm still not sure if that is the right way to do and play this map, but let's see if this time Regnant is actually able to win the bar bomb site. They do need it. Every point in defense you can gain on a defender-sided map is super important and brings you to a lead, of course. But 3-1 not looking that good for Regnant so far. They definitely have to catch up points now, because in attack they will definitely have a hard time getting rid of all these points and like make the comeback possible. For now, we see the first Maester Cam being destroyed already. Piano control is there as well. No vertical gameplay, no C4 is being tossed from below. So no problem at all for Lucendi to feel uncomfortable in Piano. Nexus again playing, as we see from that perspective, in Bathroom. Might be pressured by Joker soon with some nades. Even though I'm not sure if they are having an ADS there, which they have to burn. The Maester Chem, of course, being super important here. Also, they have to get rid of that because the thermite charges, of course, can't open the wall if they are getting destroyed by the Maester Chem. The Kate is helpful there as well, just to hold the wall shut for a little longer. Meteor in place as well. So this time, the attackers do actually have a very hard time opening that freezer wall. You said it, without the Maverick, nearly impossible. Thatcher is banned, no Cali. almost impossible, but from down below, they had the right pressure to actually open it. So very well coordinated here. TJ gets the opening frag onto Scorpio, and after 2 long minutes, the first kill fell finally, after all. And that's very important because this is Scorpio gone, this is Maestro gone. Even though, of course, the Maestro camps have been destroyed already, so not that big of a utility loss. But yeah, very last minute, they now have to make their very final push.
Yeah, but this point still stands. It took 2 minutes to get that wall open, whereas we saw it happening already like in half that time beforehand. So at least that doesn't matter when the guns of Lucendi can roar to life. A flawless round as they make it look easy. 4 kills in the span of 2 seconds. At long last, Lucendi, or TJ rather, says he's on the board, able to get a frag here. And yeah, it's interesting too that Regnant is still opting into coming here to Bar Cocktail. Now they finally did switch it, but they had lost 3 times in a row on that site and all very handily. So it was interesting that they were even considering going there.
Yeah, that is in fact right, because normally, yeah, you don't want to go to a side which you continuously lose to, and they have lost it so many times over and over again that, yeah, seeing different bomb sites is very important. Also, you know, to throw off your opponent. This bomb site should also not work as they expected it to do, but maybe this time they will make adjustments. And we already see a big amount of reinforcements in trains, so maybe they will actually put a player down in trains or in the area of mining to stop the push from there. And at this point, I think time for a quick question to the chat. Chat, what do you think? Hashtag Regnant or hashtag Lucendi? Who is going to take it? Who's going to take the first map? Who's going to take the second map? And overall, who is going to win the match? Will we see a tie? Yes, no? Let us know and vote for your team. Hashtag Lucendi or hashtag Regnant.
Yeah, I definitely would like to. I think we already, or rather, I did point this out earlier, but it definitely has been quite the uphill battle for Regnant, though. It's I don't count them out just yet. Potentially, we could be seeing some weird attacker-sided shift just for this match on Cafe, and Regnant could just come storming back truly. So, not at all gonna count them out here, as it could be that Regnant is gonna come back, like I said, but now the quick attack is coming in once again from Lucendi. They're going to get a lot more control this time rather than rush down the site, as they do get a bit of piano control that you were talking about the last time we saw Reading and Fireplace. But already Scorpio's very low, which is not what you want to see on your Wamai, especially with those charging discs that he gets over the round. And to see him already below half is really rough going here for Regnant.
Almost half of the time passed, and the top floor is, of course, almost fully in hand of Lucendi. Louis tossing out a C4, landing it perfectly onto TJ, but we still see Monster and Scorpio holding down to the top floor. The Nexus is actually pushing up, trying to help the top floor stay alive for longer. The shields are getting destroyed. Sophia utility being tossed in here, flashes, everything being tossed in here. No push coming up, and this is important because now, of course, Scorpio can stay alive. Monster is holding his cross, and they will, or they might be able to hold this push down for a little longer. Coxa is actually the one to find both of them. How is he able to just walk in there and find those 2 kills without any ado? Nexus refragging onto Qualdog, very important kill. Ties it again, but then Zenoxu from above shots Pelican Sun down. That's the smoke gone. 3v2 looking very good for Lucendi, and they still have 50 seconds, so a lot of time to start vertical gameplay above the actual bomb spot, push those last 2 defenders out of their comfortable positions, and then get ready for a plant. Sooner or later, we will see Zenoxu dropping down to come into his plant position. There we go. And yeah, Coxa very likely is going to hold the top floor for him. The shield is being burned. Nexus with the flank just at the right moment gets Joker 2v2 The last 30 seconds are coming down. Nexus is being shot from the side, doesn't react. Then Zenoxu collects the kill. But Louis gets the very important kill onto the guy carrying... No, not the guy carrying the diffuser. Zenoxu is actually having the diffuser. 11 seconds. Zenoxu has to make the play. He has to plant. There's still a shield for Louis to play behind. He will actually peek and land the shot. This is what I mean. This is exactly what I mean. Just peek in the very moment. Very risky, but nobody will expect that. Almost with that shot. But another round on to Regnant.
Yeah, good clutch up there as they were able to trade back for one another, one after the other, which we haven't really seen from Regnant. The big problem, I think, well, rather one of the big problems that we've seen from them so far on that defense was there was no real trading going on. They would fall one after the other and kind of go out uh I mean, there's no way around saying they just didn't get refragged after they fell. So it soon became very one-sided defenses or one-sided attacks. My bad for Lucendi there. But away from that, we'll see if they can keep up this refrag mentality on the attack as it's going to be bar and cocktail once again. We've seen this site kind of fall off a little bit from a lot of teams, but we'll still see it from Lucendi here as their first site as well as we saw it from Regnant. And this is the position that I was talking about earlier where Joker is going to be holding back here in Pixel with probably an ADS or two and all his Wamai discs, and it just stalls out so much time from either Hibana or Thermite or Maverick or anything from really getting a good foothold into Piano and just getting a lot of controls. So we'll have to see now how Regnant wants to deal with it. Usually, I found a lot of the time, if you can get a guy into White Stairs or on the White Stairs window, a lot of pressure on the site is usually relieved, or a lot of pressure around the site rather is usually relieved, as the defense is forced then in between the cocktail and freezer side, and then the bathroom pixel side, and they can't really freely rotate out safely if there's someone playing on the White Stairs. So we'll see if Scorpio and Louis can really get in there, but I mean, it's been pretty solid so far from Lucendi, this game as a whole.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially this round points it out quite well because top floor hold, you want to hold Piano, and we do see them still holding down to Piano. Regnant having absolutely a hard time entering the map. I don't know what they did the last minute, but now they're finally or eventually dropping red stairs and have to gain control over Piano. We do see a player playing behind the shield on Pixel in Piano, having backup in bathroom. So that's how you waste time. And if Regnant would have done that as well, the rounds might have ended very, very differently. Joker, far angle, gets the kill onto Scorpio, and that's the Hibana gone. That does hurt. The Pixel Peak shield is still up there, still peeking aggressively, delaying the push even further. As you can see, really, really having a hard time here for Regnant entering Piano or even entering the map at all. They don't really know which angles they have to push, where they're safe, where they're not safe, and they're all trapped in Cigar. Coxa finds one more, and he's still staying alive in Piano. How is he allowed to do that? Regnant, how are you allowing this? He gets even one more, but then finally is being traded off, but he could actually down one more. Nexus finds the kill, but it's only Nexus staying right now, standing on his feet because Pelican-san is actually down. So 40 seconds. He might not be able to rest his teammate at all. They might be trying it now. Yeah, they did. But now 30 seconds. Barely any map control. And they still have to push into the bomb site. No hard destruction. No soft destruction, which might be helpful. Nothing really. The Maester Camp's also, of course, coming in handy now for Lucendi. And the push has to come. Finally, they have to push in from some sides, but there's so many defenders holding their angles. Quoldog with the Maester Cam finds one, and with the shotgun, even the last player from Regnant is punished for that peek. TJ cleans it off in the very last second.
Yeah, it's pretty funny to see that after the sledge was downed, you can't be downed again. So he just got zapped to death by the Maestro cam whenever he walked into view of it. And a really solid shutout there by Lucendi. Like you said, Kixa was just able to so freely swing out and pick up three without really being traded back. And ooh, my bad. Uh, no, nothing really came of it there for Regnant as Lucendi just really walked away with that round as it almost felt like Regnant handled it or handed it over to them. But we'll see now if Regnant can catch their footing as they are starting to fall once again. They had caught it at the end of the that first half. They won two of the last three, but after that, they've kind of just been struggling that last round. It looked like they were very, very cautious. Lucendi was so on their bar cocktail attacks. They were so quick to get a lot of map control and create a lot of pressure around the map. And I mean, even before coming in contact with the shield player in Pixel that was Kixa, um, it looked like Regnant was just so cautious as many times, or I think we saw two or three times, the walls get open before even 2 minutes elapsed. But Regnant didn't even get into piano or into cigar before a minute 30. So they're just so passive compared to how Lucendi took their attacks. And now Xenoxu's trying to make them a bit more anxious here with a bit of roam play upstairs. So, um, do you have any opinion on how Vigil really plays in as an operator? Because I know we don't see him a lot.
Well, first, I think he has a crazy ass firepower. Two good guns. Like first, you can decide. I think barely any people playing comp the Boss G. But of course, now, since a few patches, you can also play with an ACOG, so you have the option there. But of course, the K1A being a very, very strong gun for a defender, and then you can decide either the SMG-12 or the ZZ. So a good gun layout, the drone ability to not be seen by drones, of course, also coming in handy if you want to hold a very specific position and not being shot through the wall or being pressured too much and too quickly. If you have somebody even holding your cross, you don't have any problem. And as you can see, they are actually having problems finding him. For example, a Jekyll, of course, would still be a pain in the ass for Vigil, but since Jekyll has not that much utility in an actual comp environment to bring into the team, we don't really see a Jekyll pick. So he can now stay alive down there in Christmas for the very moment. But as we see, Regnant is pressuring down. But the question is, maybe Xenoxu will be able to flank later on. And they should be afraid of that because we do see a Sophian on Nexus. But the question is, are they watching their flanks? Louis actually walks down right now. So yes, they are watching their flanks. Xenoxu is being pressured as well and takes half of his HP off as well. The cam spots the hash pushing in here. Scorpio gets a kill on Kixa, but then also the frag on Xenoxu is coming out from Louis. That costed him quite a while, but the two important kills actually fell. So a very good advantage, of course. There, Monster finding one as well. Where's all the firepower coming from Regnant now? That is a very important kill there as well. Only two last defenders. They are now finally pushing side. The freezer is open as well, so also the hard destruction ability being used there as well properly. Now they have to push in eventually, but they also have to be aware of the shotgun and the shots here from Joker, and Joker finds that of Nexus, so the door is not pressured anymore, and we see the shotgun coming in here as well. They might push the door now as we see them rotate in, but the smoke, of course, pushes him. Oh my god, two good kills for Smoke. Might be finding one more. It's a triple kill. Will he find the 4K? Nope, not at the moment. Time runs out, and Lucendi finishes off this round with another almost perfectly executed defense. This time we saw a very, very good side hold from the Smoke.
Yeah, and because of some buggy Hibana problems, Regnant was forced to rotate around to that front side, but I don't at all want to use that to detract from Qualdog's huge clutch up there. 3 kills in a row. Really good job from him after, especially after Joker landed that nice headshot as we saw through that wall, which is now put at a. Lucendi at least confirms 1 point here for themselves, as, like I said before, even if Regnant is somehow able to swing everything in their favor in these next bunch of rounds, the best they can do is a tie. We don't play OTs, so we'll now see if Regnant is going to stick in it or if Lucendi is going to be the ones to lock this round or this map out here and confirm at least 2 points for themselves here. So I think there's always been something to say, really, of Hibana versus Thermite. Not so much on like the buggy sense of how Hibana is, but more so just it's really just how teams have to attack with Hibana versus Thermite. Obviously, you can't open up as much with Hibana as you can Thermite, and uh it affords your team to have to play a lot differently. You have to play a lot more aggressive as a team, and you can't rely a lot on hard breaching. Whereas, if you were to play Thermite, you can get a bit of map control and then use that to slowly work your way in and then find frags. Whereas, it almost feels like a lot of times you have to, at the same time, work to get map control while getting frags, just because if you don't, then the Hibana is not going to really work as well. You can't use Hibana a ton for big wall breaches like that. It doesn't afford the most pressure or maneuverability for a lot of teams. So it's pretty sad to see, too, that the pellets destroyed each other and the side of Regnant could not push through to the freezer. So we'll have to see this round how they do, but at least it's a good trade back from Kixa, as Pelican found Qualdog early on. C4 is going to miss out from the pulse. Nope, just kidding. That was pretty late, as Scorpio actually ran right back over it. And now the Hibana is also going to fall before much use comes from her.
Pressure finally being applied vertically, as well as Pelikasan gets a kill from above. Finally, the bullets rain onto Lucendi's shoulders, but 1 minute 14, not that much time. So the Maestro player, being on top floor still, of course, is doing a very great job, but finally they will flush him out from so many directions. Very hard to find a kill. Louis, great job on pressuring him from the side. The drop there coming up, but then the frag from Kixa is there. Kixa, the only one from Lucendi being alive, back on side in reading. So if they have the vertical power to see him, spot him, and then get rid of him, they might be able to win this round without even having to plant the diffuser. They will be able to flash him out, and then there's also the frag coming in. So very well played by Regnant. Another round for Regnant, coming closer to a tie on this first round, if they want to, at least.
Yeah, the Regnant able to lock that one out. So good job there, as they were able to keep themselves in this one. So we'll have to see, as back to Bar Cocktail, now that it's opened up, this should be pretty nice going here for Lucendi, as this was the only site they looked very solid on. They looked really, it didn't look that great on kitchen service. They got handled pretty well by Regnant there, as now also we're seeing our first Echo. It's taken 10 rounds to see him, but he's actually been unbanned this one, I just really realized. So we'll see now the Japanese defender come out, as he's been a big point a problem for a lot of teams. A lot of teams like to think. Well, no, a lot of people in general understand that Echo is very strong. He's got a pretty loaded gadget with an ACOG to boot, as he can have both he gets information plus plant denial plus that disorient on top of things is just so good on those drones, and just the general maneuverability of them comparatively to something like a Valkyrie cam is really rough for the attack to have to deal with consistently. So we'll now see how Fall Dog wants to pivot around this operator now that we're finally seeing it come out. But pretty early on, at least this time, Regnant is going to be working quickly to work out. I think it's Kixa again back under the pixel spot.
And it's very important that this time they are treating that angle differently. They have to be aware of that angle not being exposed from Cigar as well. Getting rid of the shield would also be important. The first extra is being sucked up by an ADS there. So Kixo still has all the protection as he needs to stay alive for a little longer. And as you can see, finally they burn the ADS, but he's still alive, damaging people, and eventually also gets the kill on Scorpio. But he has another ADS, so still problems. He finds one more, a double kill for him, a triple kill, but then he's punished. So much work he's doing for his team. It's unbelievable. How can you let this happen? Regnant, please focus if you want to at least tie on this first map. This is not how you attack Piano properly. I mean, especially since Thatcher is gone, you can't really do anything against these ADSs there, especially not from the roof. But you might be able to, you know, sneak in a player from wide window to pressure him from so many directions and get rid of him. The next squeeze point here will be bathroom, especially with the shotgun again, a very good angle to hold from TJ. But Regan has to push in from some angle, so they have to definitely make a play now. It's only two players, as we saw in the very last round. They attack that bomb spot as well. So they have to be creative. It's four defenders. Echo is still up as well. And there you go. Louis is out as well. So it's only Nexus now trying to find the angle, trying to find the diffuser. 40 seconds, not that much time to work with, especially since there's no freezer being opened. The C4 being tossed, nothing he can do. Zenoxu cleans it off with the first map actually being won by Lucendi.
Yeah, really good job there from Lucendi to lock out the map. That there was really not any point where they were behind in this one, able to shut it out 7-3, as now two players, Kiksa and Zanaxu, posting 13 frags each. Louis is at least right behind on 11, but I mean, the rest of Lucendi had, I think, 8 and 9. TJ was down at the bottom with 2, but he's really just doing his job, I think. But back on the side of Regnant, it was Louis and Pelican, and then the rest of the team had 9 combined frags. There was just no one to compare to the third or fourth fraggers on Lucendi, so it was a very solidly done uh, entire map from Lucendi. But we'll have to see now how Regnant fares on map 2 of Clubhouse after we take a short break and get back into that one.
Absolutely. I would say see you back after the little break. Stay tuned. We will have a second map coming up as well. So definitely don't go anywhere. We'll see you in a couple of minutes.
welcome back to the last map of the day for the Atlas Championship Series. If you weren't with us before, we just came off Cafe where Lucendi finished up a very dominant 7-3 map, not looking like they were out of it for a minute as they very quickly handled Regnant over there. But now we'll be jumping over to Clubhouse as should be getting into that. Is there anything interesting you're expecting out of Clubhouse, Silver?
So in the past, I know that Clubhouse has not been the very best map for Regnant to play. They, though, properly got into the map, fixed their problems, and now look very good on the map. So I know Regnant might be very strong on Clubhouse. It's also their pick, so kind of to be expected as well, of course. I'm not sure how well Lucendi plays on Clubhouse, especially against Regnant, like I said, but it's definitely going to be an interesting match, especially I think this match might be already decided who's going to win in the actual ban phase, because depending on which operators are getting banned, they might or might not have a very hard time actually just entering the map. So I kind of expect, especially a Thatcher or a Maverick, if Lucendi, who they are going to ban.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see Thatcher Maverick. We're pretty used to both nowadays. Neither are a strange ban, so especially especially that Maverick is just so strong on this map. Obviously, this is where Maverick tricking began, but we'll see it this map, hopefully, as Ying is the second ban, interestingly. But we've got now a couple defensive bans. I fully expect it's going to be um, Echo Mira. I would hope. No, thankfully. The Cade does come out, so that is usually a lot of teams will ban that as a counter out, especially if they're on the attack. If the first ban is the Thatcher, a lot of teams will ban out the Cade or the Kaid, um, just to give themselves a lot more control on a lot of sites. Because I mean, you think of garage rafters, you can throw down the claws up there and they are virtually indestructible, and they control all the garage panels. Or you can think of Kaid tricking as well, as that would make any Thermite or Mavericks or Hibana's life rather, not Maverick. Maverick is fine with it. Um, any Hibana or Thermite's life, it would just make it so awful. But it's interesting, I'd say, that Sky Nexus is picking Hibana here, and there is no Maverick being at all considered by Regnant. Up there it is.
I mean, especially on this map, you want to have two hard bridges, Thermite, Hibana, we do see them. But of course, you also need to get the bridge open. Either you're going in down below, above it, or whatever to try and get the bridge open. Above on this map is not that possible because most bomb sites don't have something above which is soft, especially when you consider the basement. There's nothing really soft to except for kitchen. But yeah, like I said, you definitely want like either have a Thatcher or a Maverick. In this case, we have Thatcher banned, so you have to play Maverick. If you're not that familiar with the game, Maverick has a blowtorch to blowtorch holes in walls. Very likely, we are going to see that. Also, a kind of a game mechanic, which was like first discovered a few seasons ago, is when you open a full line at the bottom and at the top, at the bottom, the reinforcement actually falls out of the wall. So then you can, without actually needing a proper hard breach, just with a Maverick, open a hard reinforced wall. Even though it might be still tricked, you don't have any problem. But you have the problem, of course, you might get counter peeked by the defenders, utility being tossed towards you, smoke canister, C4s, whatever. So you definitely have to be aware of that. In this case, it's quite interesting that we do see a shield from smoke, but it is being placed to help the guy in top of garage peeking towards the breach. Normally you have it in between the cache CCTV door to peek towards the breach, so definitely an interesting decision there. Might be kind of the decision to throw Regnant out of their normal gameplay. And we can also see Scorpio is trying to get ready on the breach, but for now he has a hard time because of all these banned charges.
Yeah, it's not super it's pretty normal, I'd say, that we're seeing the bandit trick come out. But speaking on that, Louis is going to be taken down by the bandit as Kix also chimes in with one on the Sky Nexus very quickly, as this is already in favor of Lucendi, and we're just barely over a minute into the round. Now Kix is gonna snag another for himself. That's 2 here for the Jaeger, as this round is falling apart for Regnant. Running out. No, the mute is not able to confirm, but it's just up to Monsters. Joker was at least able to pick up Pelican, and he is just an Ash on about 40 HP against 3, and this is looking pretty doomed for him.
Especially since the breach could not be opened yet, he does not really have that much of an option of where he wants to enter. Either he goes in garage and walks up the catwalk, or he goes in blue and tries to walk up brown stairs. Of course, main stairs is also an option, but takes a lot of time. And he kind of has to make a decision quite soon because every second he uses in the actual decision-making process wastes more time for him actually attacking the bomb spot. He is running through the whole basement to try and get towards the main stairs. Nobody's there, so he definitely won't be pressured there. But the question is, does he know that it's quite safe there? Does he have the right utility? Can he fight the right gunfights? He managed to get into office. Joker holding a crossfire. He finds TJ, though. Does he know that there's Joker? Nope, he does not know it. And Joker finished the round off for Lucendi. And that was a very great decision-making process here from Joker to hold this angle, which, yeah, was not expected by the Ash.
Yeah, so good job there by all of Lucendi, really. It was a pretty solid team effort as they were able to bring it all together here. And they end up winning it out very solidly, very handily. So I fully expect, even with the Maverick, the way it's looking, Lucendi is just so aggressive that it's probably going to end up that I think it's way too early to predict, obviously. Um, but still, I think a 4-2 half is far from far from anything strange here for Lucendi to make happen. Um, it's what I'm fully expecting at the least on this defense. So we'll have to see, as they're choosing to do more of a bunkered hunker down defense. Just trying to chill out in the basement more rather than run around. We've seen a lot more lately. I don't know how much Europe does it, but I know a lot of NA still really likes to do roaming strategies that were popularized by teams like Space Station Gaming, where you reinforce the far upstairs walls on the exterior and you play Mute, Mozzie, Vigil, Castle, and Legion specifically as those 5 operators, and you kind of just it really just makes attacking hell. It's god awful to attack into because you can't get a drone in upstairs, you can't figure out where Vigil is, and you can't really do a ton. So, are you like, is that something? Do you know that a lot of EU teams do or no?
Absolutely. This map in particular is being played almost fully to the full extent. You see Maromas almost everywhere on the map. Not necessarily in the SSG kind of strat, but definitely definitely in the top floor. And of course the SSG sir once in a while it also pops up. It's not as you know, I'm not as used to seeing it as you might be, because in Europe a lot of teams, you know, have I don't know what the main core reason is for them not doing it, but I'm not sure if they do feel super comfortable with doing it or whatever. But I don't see it too often. But yeah, I've been following Regnant for quite a while, if you might know. Um, I definitely think we're going to see an SSG start from them. I'm not sure why, but I can almost put my hand into the fire that we are going to see it. So let's check it out if this or if these teams will still bring it towards us, because also Lucendi, of course, still has the chance to bring up the SSG strat.
Yeah, but that is already strat aside. Kixa is on the roam, and he's gonna find two here. Really great job from the Jaeger once again, as he's really able to make this come out. The attack is now starting to falter, as at least the Ash is gonna get a refrag onto Qual, but pushing out, Xenoxu's gonna pick up two here. The Ash, no, it's TJ rather, to find one, and it's just up to Louis on his lonesome yet again now. Put into a bit of a pickle here, and it is all good going for Lucendi once more. They're looking to shut this one out, as the C4 lands right in front of Louis, doesn't do any damage, but now no one is going to peek him, and it is surely a shutout round. He is stuck in dirt tunnel. He can't really rotate out anywhere, can't do much. At least he can impact the Legion, but it is Xenoxu to find the second frag of the match, or the round for himself, and to clean up the round.
And this is kind of the problem of this map. A lot of people don't want to consider this map being defender-sided, but it definitely is. Especially when I look at statistics on the long term. There, I mean, we do see evolving map gameplay, evolving metas. For example, the active bandit gameplay has been evolving throughout the very beginning of Siege. In the most current station, or in the most current situation, you see also Zofia helping in there. You see kind of a Goyo coming in as well, to, or a shield at least, to get rid of that. But it's very hard to actually push into the bomb set, even though you might have a breach, even though they have dirt. There was people still playing in dirt, even though they were trying to get kitchen hatch. That was impact tricking, and this is the problem of the map. The attackers do lose so much utility in the way actually opening hatches or line of sights towards the basement. Even if they have them, right? How important is kitchen? Like, a question to you, Cherish. How important is kitchen hatch? Because even if you have kitchen hatch, it's not like you're just going to drop it. Is it actually worth that much? Or should you rather focus on the memorial bike hatch?
I think you're right. I mean, it does opening the that back hatch, or that kitchen hatch rather. My bad. As it affords you a good bit of map pressure and map control and positioning, but um, past that, you're right. Unless it's like a dire thing, you're not going to be dropping that hatch. So I think it is still very much worth opening if you can, but I don't think if you have limited breaching, say you just have the thermite, I think you should just solely focus on Memorial and then down to Church. So we'll see now how the rest of this round is at least going to play out. But yeah, I mean, you just need to focus on. There seems to be a bit of priority problems with Regnant, as they're not really putting this Maverick to the best use that we've seen it as well, alongside the rest of their attacking operators. So we'll have to see how this comes out, as Kixa is once again on the hunt. He's gonna come up onto Sky Nexus, but win out the gunfight actually. As he hits the headshot at the least, he's down to half health, as Sky Nexus was not able to hit the head in return. And once more, a good start for Lucendi.
You could definitely see the timing being a problem there for Nexus. He just on ADS, and then Hibana picked into him, so he not really being able to get the headshot. But from the window, the next big peak is being immediately punished by Pelican Sun, and that is the I completely forgot the name. I'm sorry, the castle. That's the name, of course. That's the castle gone. Now we do see some breach action. Louis trying to open the breach. There, the reinforcement fell out. So with the grenade, he now tries to open it fully and also get rid of that wood to actually being able to enter. Qualdog with the TCSG in hand finds the head of Pelican San and takes him out of this map or this round as well. And yeah, sooner or late, Regnant completely actually hits kind of a barrier, a point where they can't enter forward, and they have to desperately push. Monster, in that desperate situation, actually finds a kill onto TJ. That's the mute gone, but 2 refrags from Qualdog. The TCSG is still a very good gun. Finds 2 more, only 1 last player from Regnant. Only Louis, he actually is able to find 1. 44 seconds, so more than enough time, but still 2 defenders. He is very, very low in HP. They are holding both positions. He does not have diffusion, so he has to go for a kill. Does he know where the players are? Not really. He does not even find one. No, it's Lucendi again winning another defensive round.
Yeah, and this is starting out the way that Cafe started out, but just on the other opposite side of things. Lucendi is just controlling and rolling over Regnant as they are just making it not look very tough for themselves. They are just absolutely taking over the map in every possible way, and they are just making it really. Uh, uh, they really look easy, as now we're seeing back to CC and nothing really surprising. So I really like the Wamai Bandit pick here, as it really helps the Bandit to have the Wamai for Bandit tricking, just because if you look at the bottom of the screen right now, that little window, you can throw all your little Wamai discs down there, and should the attack opt into playing Capital, especially alongside the Hibana, usually we see that safe Capital trick as it's been come to talked about, um, where you shoot it through the top panel of the garage on the far side, farthest away from the rest of the building, and you shoot it all the way from there through the garage window to hit the bandit just on the wall. You can throw Wamai discs right under the window, and it'll catch them outside on the rafters. And it just works so fantastically for saving the bandit on the trick that all he has to really worry about is any Zofia tricking. And from there, it's interesting that we're seeing no Maverick. I guess Regnant is really not comfortable with the operator, as they just aren't playing with him. They're not comfortable playing with usually what has become a must pick almost on this map. And it's I don't think it's working fantastically for them, as we saw last round. They set Louis all on his own, and he kind of did his job, but not fully, as he didn't get the wall open enough that he could get through safely without taking a lot of damage. And now, I mean, especially against the bandit, we'll see how Lucendi is going to opt into, or rather, Regnant is going to opt into attacking and taking down these walls. But oh, actually, through the slit of that electrical box, Joker's going to be able to find Louis and shut down uh, a lot of the pressure for denying the bandit.
And as we can see, the attack already kind of stalls out. No breach being open. I'm not even sure where exactly they want to enter and where they want to attack, because it looks like they're all somewhere, but there's kind of right now no good coordination. Yeah, we see Nexus right now walking at the the western side, sorry, of the map. Scorpio as well there as well, but it's they kind of have to push towards side. Scorpio now being in reach of side, breaching into there, but he's all on his own. Only Pelican somewhat close, and yeah, they definitely have to make a play now, especially since Bandit is still an option for them, and they might have an active Bandit. No, actually a very good play here from Monster down below, pressuring the Bandit, and also finding the hit onto the Noxus. So a good player being gone from the leaderboard of Lucendi as well. And that's a very, very important kill, especially since now they have the breach open towards site and find probably more kills. Joker now, though, refraying onto Monster. Time is definitely running out for them. Not that much time anymore. The final push has to come in. The question is, does Regnant know where to push from? Kiksa finds one more onto Pelican Sun. They are now again struggling attacking this bomb site, and especially at the end, they are having a hard time because all that utility that is still inside helps the defenders, of course, and they have to push into them. One kill, but immediately trade. It's only up to Nexus. Now he finds one, but the trade is there again. And Lucendi again wins this bomb spot, again, almost without any problem in the end. They were all just holding their positions brilliantly, if you ask me.
Yeah, and that is one of I think Lucendi's big points as they've been showing off really well so far that they're able to just refrag one after the other for each other, and they make it look really easy. They make it look really solid and firm here as no frag goes unpunished from Regnant. And Lucendi is just confirming that they're making sure that's very well known by Regnant. And because of that, that's why we now see this 4-0 start. They're starting fantastically on Clubhouse, which I fully agree with you. We've seen a little bit of backlash lately, I'd say. A lot of teams are starting to feel that Clubhouse is not as defender sided as it once was. Um, but I mean, I'm thinking back to the times when CC was like, uh, I think it was actually Church, my bad, not CC, but one of the two was like a 70% defender success rate. It was just miserable to attack, and you're always shocked when the attack would win it. But, I mean, there's been some pushback, like I said. A lot of teams are trying to force into their strategy the SSG hold, I guess, is how I always refer to it as. But basically, just the extended hold where you roam upstairs with everyone. And it's it's been causing a lot of problems for a lot of teams because they all try to also mold it to their own style and their own way, and because of that, they don't see as much success. The strategy is made the way it is because that's just what the teams have found to work. Those 5 operators are the keys, and once you start swapping them out, you start to see problems pick up in the strategies. So I think part of the reason we see a bit more defender side or attacker sidedness is because a lot of teams, Gym Bedroom is already a 50-50 site, I think. And now add into that a lot of teams trying to do a strat and change up a strat that doesn't really need to be changed. You start to add in a lot more attacker bias there. And plus CC is starting to fall a bit more to the attackers. And now it's just been swinging more attacker sided, but well, Dog is going to try and keep the defender sidedness running with a nice C4 there on the Pelican.
And it might not look very important, but it actually is a very important kill because you now have almost every soft destructibility completely tossed out of the map. And yeah, especially for kitchen, soft destruction might be very helpful. I mean, Paul's of course coming in handy there as well to locate all the attackers, locate where the push in the end might be coming from, where they might be peeking you from. But of course, like I said, the just having the information is very important to the defenders. The crossfire here is being held as well. They also assume to know that they open above the reinforcement to toss C4s. Scorpio finds a kill onto Qualdog, so the Pulse is definitely being punished for being a little bit too aggressive there. But we still have Kiksa in blue. We still have TJ peeking wide towards Scorpio. And the shotgun in hand finds the kill as well. Kiksa finds one more. Only 2 more players from Regnant. Again, facing 4 defenders. Accidentally flashing your teammate and almost getting shot by Kiksa. They have definitely to be aware. C4 is being tossed out there as well. And the angles are held. The shotgun, close range combat. Nexus actually finds the kill onto Kiksa, so blue is now clear. But the next one is already following up. One more. The trade is there. And Lucendi wins one more round and goes into a crazy ass lead, 5-0.
Yeah, this is even worse than Cafe was looking because at this point, at least, Regnant had won their first round and they had taken up also two close ones, but again, Kicksuck and Qualdog are at 7 frags, Joker's at 6, and Monster can't is kind of there, but past that, no one on Regnant is able to even contest these players on Lucendi when it comes to the frags and stuff. There's just no way for Regnant to outfrag or counterfrag Lucendi here, as they are really just they are really struggling on this map so far. They have a combined 13 frags over uh these 5 rounds, and like I said, it's Kixa and Qualdog at 14 together. So that is not even factoring in the other 3 players on Lucendi, which is just showing how dominant this team is playing over Regnant and why they deserve this at least this top 3 placement so far in the league. And they're really just trying to solidify that. So, I mean, do you see any way for Regnant to get back in this one and at least tie it, if not win it out?
That's definitely a really hard one. I mean, we do see a defender-sided map, and the defenders actually win more rounds. So you might expect Regnant to win also defenses as well. But that's where the important points come in. Of course, it's a defender-sided map, but most bomb sites are actually, I mean, quite easy to attack when we're looking at it. For example, getting in the breach is not that hard anymore with Sophia, with all the utility you can use for that, with Maverick, with Kali, still being able to being picked. Um, but you have to play them correctly, and I'm not sure in their current mood if Regnant is able to do that. I'm not sure. What would you say?
I think it's really tough for Regnant. I mean, I agree the defender sidedness makes it a little bit better, but I mean, Qualdog is already trying to lock it out into a 6-0 here. At least Louis is going to be not Louis, my bad. At least Kix is going to be downed here, as he's going to be finished off by the impact from Ash, the breaching round, my bad. But still, that's not without Monster being pretty low. And yeah, I think it's really tough at the very least for Regnant to get back into this one. Even if they win this round, they still have to win 5 of the next 6. But they're looking pretty on pace to at least win this one. It's looking a lot better than the last gym bedroom attack was looking, as they're not focused on the Maverick anymore. There's no split focuses from the attack here. They're all focused on the same spot, and against the weakened guns, I guess, of the UMP plus the small magazine from the SMG-11, it's gonna fare a bit better here for Regnant. But already the wall is gonna get opened up, and quickly, actually, the reinforcement comes out from Joker as he boards himself back into the bathroom. Monster is bleeding out though, and he's not gonna be revived just yet by Pelican until now.
45 seconds. C4 being tossed, but not able to toss it through that window frame. It's a 4v3 situation, advantage on Regnant's side. They do have the important breach. They have access to the important bomb site. Scorpio actually finds one more, so a very important kill to just further expand their lead. They spot a player in bathroom, so they know only one more in bathroom. They find one more. TJ, they'll refragging onto Monster, but they know exactly where Mute is. They 100% know where he is. They might be able to go for diffuser plant. They actually will try to go for diffuser plant. Is the cover there at the right momentum? No way that he actually stays alive. But then finally, the frag is there from Scorpio. Very well played from Scorpio here, covering himself in the post-plant situation, winning the very first round for Regnant. And now with a 5-1 round swap, finally, Regnant takes a point.
Yeah, Regnant is able to stop the lockout, but it is even further than Cafe was. Cafe was stopped at 3 rounds, and we just saw 5 in a row from Lucendi, and they are just really rolling with it here as we're going to see at least Church Arsenal come out. Again, like I said earlier, this site at some point in its lifetime was I think this was around the SI, the Sixth Invitational. It was very defender sided. It was like close to 65, 70% upwards. Um and it's just really rough to attack. At least um there's some hope, I guess, with both Capital and Maverick being left up, but still, it's kind of rough to kind of rough going for Regnant here as they have to chain together 5, like I said before, 5 of the next 6 rounds to
From
from what? Sorry.
from the defense we've seen on Cafe, what do you
Yeah.
think should they make completely different or change or turn around to pull this comeback off?
I think to pull it off, I think they really need to get aggressive off one another, meaning um, a lot of times, especially on Cafe, we would see, some of the rounds that worked out really well on the attack for them. They were able to swing off one another and were getting frags when even if one of their teammates died, they were very focused on that refrag. And we just haven't seen that here so far. It was on the defense. Lucendi was able to swing out onto something, and someone on Regnant would die, or someone on Lucendi would peek an angle, and someone on Lucendi would die, and there was no one right behind them. There's just it felt like there wasn't a ton of team play, and that there is a lot of hesitation. But now that they're on the defense, they know they're in a bit more of an advantage here, and it's a bit more comfortable. And in in all, I mean, Lucendi, or rather Regnant, can play a bit more aggressive isn't the right word, I'd say. I think I'd rather say controlled, and they can know what their things are doing. But even look at this, like Monster and Louis are in no place to refrag Sky Nexus, as is Monster and Sky Nexus are in no place to refrag Louis. Any combination of the three, they're playing such passive angles off of one another that they can't really refrag, and they're not. I'm not saying to play aggressively, but I'm saying just like give each other a chance. No one can trade out for each other here.
A minute and 12 seconds left. Lucendi found the way to the gates of the bomb spot. Blue control, though, still being in hand of Regnant, and nobody has been killed so far. As I said, Scorpio is getting down by the nade. Joker also confirming the kill. Though we still have a very big and important map control percentage on Regnant, so it will be very hard in the very end for Lucendi to push onto side and get rid of those defenders in these close combat angles. Qualdog actually finds the kill. Blue is being flushed out as well. Monster being able to refrag, but the important frags have been coming up already. It's only Monster and Pelican-san, actually being low, being refragged, or being fragged from side. Monster refragging on Kiksa. Monster finding a triple kill with the next frag onto TJ. He has to find 2 more, and he has Diffuser. But he's being shot in the back as he tries to peek a little bit too far. Now they want to get him, and Joker also gets him and wins the match point round now for Lucendi. 6-1 for Lucendi. A very strong situation for Lucendi.
Yeah, they're same thing as Cafe. They're just not dropped the ball at all. They're looking all in control, and it's really looking pretty tough so far for Regnant to even consider coming back in this one. Again, Monster is really up there on par with the rest of Lucendi, but his team is just not able to reciprocate. And because of that, we're seeing just a whole host of problems as Lucendi is able to take a lot of gunfights and just win them out when it comes down to it. So we'll see now the jump ship from Church Arsenal to CC as aside from the big clutch up from Monster, usually the way I like to think of it in those situations is before the 1vx, it doesn't matter how many kills whoever it was got in that situation. Um you still have to look at it from the concept that your defense got handled so far to the point that it was a 4-on-1 in terms of that last church defense. So you got very quickly beaten all in all, and that was still with about a minute left on the cards. So it's really rough there for Regnant, and I can understand wanting to head over to CC now. So not surprised that they're jumping over here, but we'll have to see how they opt into this defense. We're seeing a Capitao too, which we didn't really see much of at all from Regnant's attacks.
Yeah, especially interesting to point it out. Nope, it's not interesting because Monster is more interesting as he finds Joker, and that's the sledge gone, and very important, that's the nades gone. So very, very good frag from him. Yeah, what I just wanted to say is we do see now the first time the Capital, and it's important to point out that we did not see a Capital so far, or even though he has not been banned, and Capital, of course, also interfering in that active bandit meta, in that, you know, map control meta of getting the important part of map control. Yeah, we see a breach, but not on the default spot where normally Hibana would breach. But we now see a Thermite breaching. Louis will be downed and it's pressured a lot. But we still see somebody in Harry Potter. I think it's Scorpio, if I'm not mistaken. Wide peeking. A little bit too much aggression here. But of course, if you can find the frag on Thermite, that would be a very, very good kill. Very important, since there's no second Hot Breacher on Lucendi. So getting rid of that would be very good. But for the moment, Thermite will stay alive. Garage control coming in now as TG just entered the breach. But the frag finds the way as well, as Pollock finds Scorpio. And yeah, more and more, they actually do find the way. Breach is open as well, as we just saw. And I don't know, they have to hold down to their positions now, because this is the round they cannot lose. Louis probably won't be able to get picked up again. The angles are so crazy from Lucendi, and they also give them kills. Diffuser attempt might be coming up soon. Nades here and there, smoke canisters, so much going on. But it's only two last defenders. One finds a kill, but no, it's Lucendi finishing off the round, the map, the series. 2-0 for Lucendi. Absolutely well played.
Yeah, that was like you said specifically, that was just a flurry of everything going on all at once. And still, though, because of it, it was able for Lucendi to pull it out. They didn't look like they were struggling for a moment. They were able to lock out now 7-1 following their 7-3. And yeah, they did not at all look out of control in either map. They didn't look uncomfortable in either map. They just took everything that they wanted and were just so solidly played.
I mean, especially the second map. I would like to say it was close, but 7-1 indicates it was near